Welcome back. Once again, adventurers, so let's play Biohazard Real Survival. In the last episode, Jill Valentine managed to reach the underground area beneath the water passage on the Spencer estate, the Arkley mansion, in which she found two of her fellow STARS members, Alpha Team member Barry Burton and Bravo Team Captain and Sub-Captain of the STARS Enrico Marini, who was elaborating on the plot by Umbrella to lure the STARS to the mansion to begin with, but his words were silenced by a mysterious assailant, somebody whom Enrico referred to as a traitor within the STARS themselves. But the time for mourning is over. We must press on. I'm not Sean Connery. There is something in the distance. We did hear footsteps, so our mysterious assailant cannot be too far behind. It appears to be another crank. I will combine those two herbs just in case. But we do have a second crank dropped by our runaway assailant. And if we examine this one, there is nothing important from the side, but if we examine the hilt, its end is hex-shaped. This is the crank that we need for the hexagonal, well, basically this is the hexagonal crank that we needed. And Barry is mourning over his friend Enrico. We have more pressing concerns. Not today. Switch back to the shotgun since I'm running low on is that another hunter? No, it is not. It is not. That is most fortuitous. Shall have to come back for those ink ribbons. No, what ink ribbons? What am I talking about? Those items, the first aid spray and the explosive rounds. And those hunters here. Oh! Oh! I'll deal with you later. Probably could have gone around him without getting hit there, but Oh, before we turn the crank, or use the crank I should say, I should I'm actually tempted to have the Magnum with me because I am running out of space. Fortunately the dormitory is right next to the entrance to the underground, which is good for us, since we haven't yet reached an item box down there at the moment. But yeah, Biohazard 1 is pretty lenient when it comes to its item box placement. Not so much the later entries in the series, I might add. Especially if you're doing real survival, as I am, then it's extremely unforgiving. Do I want to put away one of the mixed herbs right now, but I'll leave the yeah, I'm going to leave the first aid spray and the grenade rounds for the moment, but I will take with me the Magnum, because I do not trust the underground in the slightest. My intuition is telling me that there are more than hunters lurking below down there. I want to be extra ready. Back through we go. Those won't be the only... I just love PlayStation sometimes. Those aren't the only hunters we'll be dealing with in that area. No sir, we're not done with hunters yet. I'll leave that hunter for now. I will take care of him when I get to him. But, sure, yeah, you have to be very precise as to where you're standing. Turning this underground mechanism. When they were working on this place, Umbrella must have installed a lot of secretive mechanical elements to the mansion. A lot of hidden construction work that they didn't want anyone to find out about when they were working on building designing the mansion. The mansion is tricky with all its secrets and elements, courtesy of the late architect George Trevor. No clacking sounds just yet. Which means no hunters, but there is a threat just as ominous as a hunter. That is a boulder. That is a boulder. We're going to have to run away from this boulder. On your marks, get set, run, and run away as fast as you can, because that is another trap. Umbrella trap. That survived. And now we have some ambient music down here for the underground. You survived one boulder, but I doubt that will be the last. Oh, sneaky hunter. Sneaky hunter. Oh. That on me. Worth it, worth using that first aid spray. And flame rounds. I'm going to waste the I'm going to waste that. And see what's behind the hole that the boulder has caused. No hunters lurking in here. Up to a pair of iron doors. And ominous music. Oh, Loner Hole, it's boss time. That is Black Tiger. Black Tiger has been defeated by the power of the Magnum and little spiders, which we want to avoid at all costs. Probably should have gotten away from... ooh, that's not good. Eye is poisoned. Oh, eye is poisoned indeed. That is ungood. That is ungood. I need to get to a blue herb. I desperately need to get to a blue herb, which... How fortuitous that I left them down at the dormitory. Ooh. Get to the blue herbs before I run entirely low on health. Ooh. Use that blue herb. Back down to the underground we go. That was three magnum rounds that we used on Black Tiger. Because anything else would actually be anything else would actually be fairly would be similarly powerful, but I'm gonna have to face this hunt because I want that ammunition and that first aid spray. And the flame rounds will take care of you, good sir. Die. And minor spoiler warning, adventurers. I was the last hunter. No more hunters. No more hunters. I'm so happy. I'm so fantastically glad. I'm going to have to backtrack yet again. It's a shame we don't have Barry to help us, but, well, we're doing alright for ourselves. I'm going to have to back... Oh, where did you two come from? Oh, where did you two come from? Last hunters of the game, he said. You won't have to fight them ever again, he said. Please don't make me waste this first aid spray. Well, one way or another I am going to have to go back to the dormitory save room. Working to pass these hunters. Don't you dare. I will not die to hunters after beating Black Tiger. I will not fall to hunters. But yeah, what I meant by hunters, once we go past the underground, we won't have to fight hunters ever again. Ever. From this moment onwards, I'm not fighting hunters. I refuse. I refuse to kill the hunters that are left in the mansion. I refuse to kill those 2 hunters that magically came out from nowhere. Yeah. Biohazard can certainly pull a fast one on you without you realizing when you least expect it. It wouldn't be survival horror if it were otherwise. But And there's a first aid spray and I've got 3 first aid sprays because I'm not cheating or losing my mind. I did move these to the I did move all these to the save box on screen. I'm sure you all saw me do that. I haven't been cheating. You can check the footage. The items that I've just rearranged, I did bring here without breaking the real survival stipulations. I will be coming back for those again. Hooray for backtracking. Damn those hunters. If I had died to those 2 hunters down the underground, I would have been very, very upset. Very upset indeed. I got the first aid spray and I got the grenade rounds, so I'm happy with that. Now we can move on. We can move on indeed. Never have to go through there again. Please, please do not let there be hunters in here. It's like the crocodile from that ate the right hand of Captain James Hook. The hand that was cut off by his arch nemesis Peter Pan. Those hunters. And this is the room in which we found Black Tiger. There is a door over here that is blocked off by a spider's web. We can't break through, except with one thing, and that is the combat knife. It seems that Shinji Mikami and the people who developed Biohazard anticipated, since the combat knife is essentially useless as a fighting weapon against the creatures of Biohazard, people thought that there was absolutely no way in hell, in the 9 hells, that they would ever use the combat knife. And then this. You have to use the combat knife here. Just once. Which is why fortunately, why I had a, had a spare inventory space. I shall run down this room first. Lo and behold, it's a safe room. Safe room. Safe room. Since I'm not going back to the mansion, I shall store the combat knife there. And that is a blue herb. I will say no to Mr. Blue Herb. I will not say no to a first aid spray. And of course, you know, adventurers, that I'm going to have to move all the items in the dormitory down to this item box here. No DM, no cheating. You knew what you were getting into with Biohazard Real Survival. Stay true to the stipulations. There is an ink ribbon, and there is a typewriter here, and I'm glad there are. Because I am going to save yet again. I've saved 9 times thus far. If I were a bit much more practiced, I could probably get through biohazard on real survival stipulations competently enough. We are not done with the underground just yet, and there are snakes, because the area we are in is the bit where the snakes drop down before you are on the other side of the water passage. And we have branching paths. We have an elevator over there, but I'm not going to take it. Instead, I'm going to go down this corridor that has another boulder in it. And another area which happens to have another movable passage. We have to turn twice in order to get it to move properly to where we want it to be. If I turn around and run down here... Ooh. I'm glad I saved, because I might die. But there is a space here in this, but we don't have far to run. But there is something behind there, something that we really need. Get in there! So lucky I did not get killed by the boulder, because this boulder is much more annoying than the first one, because Jill doesn't automatically get out of the way when that happens, as she did with the first boulder. It's a map of the underground. Will you take it? Got a map of the underground. Rather somewhat redundant, given the fact that by this point we've already explored the underground in its entirety. But ooh, an ammo disc, a second ammo disc, which is very fortuitous. We're out of space, so I'm going to head back to the item box. And I believe we no longer have any need for the crank, which is always a good sign when you no longer have need of things. And I do not want to be poisoned by the snakes. And those snakes just came out of the wall. You gotta love PS1 clipping. Those snakes just spawned right out of thin air. Now I can store away the crank, and I think I'll put away the magnum for the time being, and that lighter I can't use, so I cannot get that lighter. Just remembering that. No cheating on my part, Mr. DM. Put all those away. and I was going to check what that hidden passage had. So tired of snakes. Probably should have taken the blue herb in case one of those snakes got lucky and hit me with poison. But we don't have to worry about the boulder anymore. So let us see what was concealed in this hidden passage. Another room of sorts. No hunters inside, which is good. Appears to be a statue over here, and a panel which is triggered by a pressure plate. And oh, you've got to be kidding me. There is a hexagonal hole. Not done yet with the crank. Probably should have held on to that crank. That was my bad. That's my B. Back we go. Back to the save room, get the hexagonal crank. Avoid the snakes as they drop down from the ceiling. Again, I must go up the walls somehow. Well, there must be a considerable amount of snakes on those trees. But, not done with you yet, Mr. Crank. And I should probably do the smart thing this time around and, take that blue herb with me, just in case I get poisoned. Never hurts to be careful. Won't be the last time we run through these snakes, adventurers. Get out of town. Serpentine, serpentine, as always. Always sage advice. Now that we have the hexagonal crank, we can actually see what it does. Trying to have these episodes be a little bit longer, because a few of them have actually been fairly short. But the crank is necessary for this particular puzzle. Because if we use the crank, if we use the crank in the right place, appears to be there. A section of the wall emerges. Conveniently placed near where the pressure plate is. And since the statue has been conveniently placed by the wall, we have no choice but to push that to the extendable wall, and then use the crank. I said, and use the crank. Collision is, you have to be standing in precisely... I said precisely the right place. Oh, that was a little further than I thought it was, but you can still move the statue. Position ourselves correctly. Just have to have it resting on the pressure plate. Lo and behold, Doom Book 2, which is blue compared to the Doom Book 1's red cover. But, well, I believe, by snakes. Do not get hit by snakes. Back to the safe room. Shall, place these items in here. I'm going to use that ink ribbon to save, because I'm not losing all that progress. Probably, actually it is a very good time to save, in case anything happens. Save number 10. And, well, that will be it for this episode of Let's Play Biohazard Real Survival. And when we return, I shall retrieve those items from the dormitory item box and bring them all the way back down here to the to this item box in the underground before finally moving on. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.